Who is it?
Mrs. Arshmer?
Who?
Mrs. Barshmer?
Who is it?
Plumber, ma'am.
I didn't get a plumber.
Candy Graham.
For who?
Ma'am, I think you're double parked blocking me in.
Is this that clever shark from Saturday Night Live?
No, ma'am. I'm just a sports editor. And we are back with Athletes of the Week. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you may be tuning in. I am Brian Carpenter, sports editor of the Meriden Record Journal, and welcome to week 2 of the Record Journal Fall Athletes of the Week. Hey, Spence, we were talking about how we wanted to get outside for the show, but if we were going to get outside today, man, I think we'd be out in kayaks. So we're going to have to wait for Mother Nature to cooperate. So we're back in the locker room for week 2, but we're fired up because we have our results from week 1, and they were just off the charts. The voting was the best it's ever been, ever of all time, Spence. It was incredible. I can't even add that high. In fact, not only do we have our all-time winning vote getter this week, actually 5 people broke the previous record, held by my dear friend, Miss Abby Murphy. Ab, you're going to have to break your own record that's been broken. You know how that works. In the meantime, we're going to bring you our winners from week 1. Just want to say again how good the voting was. We're going to start with the boys. All 3 boys had a lot of votes. They're popular guys, I guess. They're certainly good football players. They are, if you recall, Mr. Jaylon Nixon from Maloney, Mr. Lorenzo Sanson from Platt, and Terrence Bogan from Sheehan, almost to 1,000 yards already on the season. Our winner from Maloney, Mr. Jaylon Nixon. Caught up with Jaylon at practice earlier this week.
Thanks, Bri. We're here with Jaylon Nixon. He's our male athlete of the week. Tell us about those first 3 games.
The first 3 games, the first game was very serious. It was all the games were very serious, but the first game was the most serious because it was Windsor. They beat us twice, the first game and in the playoffs, to knock us out. So to take that win was very, very special, very important to us.
Yeah, so I have the stats down here. You had 15 tackles, 7 solo, an interception, plus you caught a touchdown. Tell me about that game. What was that like for you?
It was amazing. It was just incredible, flying to the ball, trying to hit someone. I love to do that.
Do you feel that kind of set the tone for the season, beating the team that beat you guys twice last year?
Yes, it made a big statement to the whole conference that we're here and don't take us lightly.
Jaylon, thank you for taking time to speak with Spencer and Shawnee before practice earlier this week. The Spartans 3-0, going for their 4th win of the season on Friday night out in Mansfield against E.O. Smith. All right, let's go to our girls' candidates. And like the boys, a lot of votes. Again, it was close. If you remember, our candidates were from Southington, Miss Olivia Sherwood, and from Lyman Hall, Miss Nicole Albert, and from Wilcox Tech Soccer, Miss Katie Kearney. Our winner, again, so much addition, I can't even stop and pause to add it up, other than I do know that our winner was from Wilcox Tech, Miss Katie Kearney. We caught up with her before she got on the bus and went down to Bridgeport for a game against Bullard Havens.
I am here with our female athlete of the week, Katie Kearney. What does it mean to you to get so many votes and get so much support?
Honestly, I think it's a pretty big deal because, especially being a tech school, we don't get as many recognitions for sports and stuff because people think oh, it's just a tech school, they're not good, they're not going to play well. So we don't get a lot of fans that come to our games, but I think we still play pretty well. You've
been on one of the top scorers here at Wilcox for a few years now. What's your secret to scoring so many goals?
I'm a very physical player, and I like to tell everyone it's a contact sport and to get in there, don't be afraid of the ball, don't be afraid to knock people over.
What are your expectations for the team for the rest of the year?
We have a couple pretty good freshmen that we have and a good sophomore that came out this year for goalie. So I think that with this team this year, I think we should be pretty good and maybe make it to states.
How about individually? I think you said your season high was 27 goals. Would you like to go over that this year?
Hopefully, definitely would be a great thing to achieve.
Katie, thank you for taking some time out to speak with Shawnee and Spencer. Hey, one thing about Katie and Spencer, you and Shawnee pointed this out to me. She's an Irish girl, obviously, and her name for years we've been pronouncing it Kearney. Well, it's an Irish name. It's Gaelic. Pronunciation is Kearney. I stand corrected. Spencer, have I been pronouncing your name right? It's not Spenker or anything like that. It's Spencer, right? All right. Katie, good for you, Athlete of the Week. and your Wilcox Tech soccer team off to a very good start. As are the teams for our Week 2 candidates. We got a whole fresh new slate. We're excited about them. We got 3 boys soccer players. We got a good mix of girls, and we're going to start with the girls. Where should we start, Spencer? We're going to start with the record breaker. We're coming off a record-breaking week for Athlete of the Week voting. We're going to go to our record breaker in the pool over at Cheshire. This young lady, Miss Sieena Breton, senior diver for the Cheshire Rams on Thursday night of last week against Lyman Hall. She put up a score of, as the Magic Erase dry erase board tells me, 285.65. And with that score, Sieena broke a record that had stood since 1997. Miss Caitlin Cox, who was a state open champion, set it 1997, 21 years ago. She went on to Boston College, big things. What will Sieena go on to? We shall see. In the meantime, she is candidate number 1 for the girls here in Week 2. Our second candidate is from the number 1 volleyball team in all the land here in the Nutmeg State. She is from Southington. Who's it going to be? Because the Blue Knights are so good. So many good players. They're number 1. They're undefeated. We're going with the double-double machine, Miss Haley Larrabee. She's a senior, putting up big numbers. Going into the start of this week, she was tied for the team lead with 55 kills, 70 digs also for Larrabee. Now, she added to those totals on Monday because Southington beat Glastonbury to improve to 7-0. It was a hard choice with Southington because they have so many good players. Hopefully, Rich Heights and all his girls will rally behind Miss Haley Larrabee. She is nominee number 2 here in Week 2, RJ Athletes of the Week. Our third and final nominee, I thought long and hard about this one. I thought some more. And I'm going with her. Miss Abby Lespier from Maloney Soccer. All right, now Maloney, it's a young team. They don't have this great gaudy record. But let me tell you something about Abby. She's only a sophomore. She's in net. And this girl's facing a ton of shots, game in, game out. After 5 games, she already has 85 saves. Against Southington, she had 31. I mean, usually with goalie saves in a soccer game, it's, you're getting up around 10, 11. It's a lot. It's a busy day. 31 against Southington. Against Berlin, she had 26. Abby is quite an athlete. Soccer, basketball, tennis, you name it. Right now, she is girls nominee number 3 here in Week 3. All right, we're going to go over the boys. And when it comes to this gentleman from Wilcox Tech Soccer, there is just one pronunciation. He is Mr. Chris Aceves. He's a senior for Coach Joe Testa and his Indians. And what a program they got over there. Off to another undefeated start for the defending CTC champions, and Aceves, he makes it happen, boy. He already has, the Magic dry erase board tells me, he has 9 goals already on the season as of right now. It's probably changed in the 2 minutes it's taken for me to say that because Wilcox does have a game on Wednesday. And remember, when you see this, it's Wednesday about 6. You go online and vote. Chris Aceves and the Indians are at home playing O'Brien Tech, looking to build on their 6-0 record. Chris Aceves, 9 goals on the season. He is boys nominee number 1 here in Week 2. We're going to stay on the soccer field for the boys. We're not going anywhere. We're staying right on the pitch. We're going to go over to Wallingford because we had the Lyman Hall Sheehan doubleheader, the first of 2 within a week. Spence, you're going to be right out there again next Monday. Lyman Hall Sheehan head-to-head twice inside of 1 week. They played on Monday over at Sheehan, and the Sheehan Titans, both boys and girls, both won 1-0 to sweep. And for the boys, the guy who got it done, scored the game-winning goal, boop, Mr. Matthew Marquis, a junior. He scored in the 52nd minute, working a give-and-go with teammate Julio Serna. That was the 4th goal of the season for Matthew. Gave the Sheehan Titans a 1-0 victory over their rivals. Congratulations to you, Matthew. That makes you boys nominee number 2 here in Week 2. And our third and final nominee, we're staying right down there at Richatelli Field because one of the best soccer players in our area was in action that night. He is from Lyman Hall, returning all-record journal player, Tyler Stowik, senior for the Trojans. He's their leading scorer. The Titans held him in check on Monday. Big reason why they won. Tyler had a lot of chances, but Chris Wells and the Titans were able to keep him at bay. Not many teams have been able to do it this year. He already has 7 goals on the season. He had a hat trick against East Haven last week. Came back with a goal against Brantford. Good to see Tyler again. Boys nominee number 3 here in Week 2. All right, that's our slate. You're seeing this video. It's about 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Spence, I'm impressed because we just shot it. You put it together so fast. Boom, and here it is for folks to see. And when you see it, you go online to myrecordjournal.com/sports. Go online and you vote between now, Sunday at midnight. Let's follow up on the great numbers we had from Week 1. It did this old heart such cheer to see those numbers, even though they were hard for me to add up. I am Brian Carpenter, sports editor of the Meriden Record Journal. I appreciate you watching. Check in again next Wednesday. We'll have the winners from week 2 and bring you a fresh slate. Be good.